It was our biggest episode ever, obviously. 7 million views in 24 hours. It was crushing, going viral. Everybody loved it on both sides. And then YouTube took it down.
Yeah.
But you called it.
I said they're going to take it down because we talked about election fraud. Let's see what happens when Twitter and all of them take it down, because we don't have a free press in our country.
Trump was right. Trump was right.
But you guys were great. You said, we will not change it. We're not going to amend it. We're not going to take anything out. It did really hit. It was a big monster, wasn't it?
Huge.
Well, it's because of you much more than me, I would assume.
Donald Trump made a triumphant return to the Full Send podcast, and he pointed out there, as they kissed his ass for multiple minutes, that, you know, they would take this whole thing down. And he pointed out the free press we don't have anymore in this country because, you know, YouTube and Facebook is the press. Who cares if it makes sense? He just says things. He also says more things about Ron DeSantis here, and they listened.
You have a guy from Florida, Ron DeSantis, who I got in with my endorsement. He was at 3 points. He was nothing. He was not going to win. He was going to lose, and I endorsed him. And then when they asked him a couple, not only there, then I got him through the general election. He was running against somebody who at the time was considered very good as a politician. And then when they asked him a few years later, are you going to run against the president? He said, I have no comment. I said, that's not supposed to happen. He was dead politically. I endorsed him and saved him. Had I endorsed, he was losing by like 25, 30 points very shortly before the election. When I endorsed him, he went like a rocket ship. Like
you love that song,
like Rocket Man. He went like a rocket. I should call him Rocket Man, but now he's Rocket Man that's crashing. His polls are terrible. I'm leading him in every state. I think he gets good publicity, although now people are starting, because I'm putting out the COVID numbers. He didn't do well on COVID. He had more deaths in almost every country. I believe in loyalty. You just don't do what he did. Now he's out campaigning. I assume he's going to run. But I think the numbers are so bad now that a lot of people are assuming that he won't run.
A lot of people are assuming he won't even run. Wow, what if that happens? Let's pause here. There's more things going on, Francesca. I want you to jump in here, though. But first of all, I've noticed this same rotation of things. I brought him aboard. I endorsed him. He would have lost. He would have lost to everyone in Florida if it wasn't for me in the first place. They said, oh, my God, he took off like a rocket ship. It's the same process over and over and over again of his talking points. But I guess it's on a new podcast. Some more folks got to hear it.
I guess my favorite part about the way Trump has to speak now is that he does not stop because he is afraid of a question and that he cannot answer or should not answer. And so he just keeps going. And I like that's a really funny way to well, we were going to arrest him, but he kept on talking, he's got all these crimes we wanted to ask him about, but he kept on talking. I have that to say that I also have, I'm like, that is what I have to say. What else I have to say is, can we bronze the ears? Why do the ears get the short shrift? If the whole thing is going to be orange, why don't we just, dust it a smidge? It's very, very striking in that light. But yeah, I mean, the Ron DeSantis stuff, look, if he can hit him on two things, COVID, as well as trying to cut Medicare and Medicaid, have at it. I love it. Just keep on talking about that as if Trump has any leg to stand on when it comes to COVID.
That's going to be the best part, because if anyone is smart, they'll start stabbing each other at the same time. Oh, you want to cut Social Security. No, you want to cut. And they'll both be right, because you guys are all the same person with the same one policy: destroy Americans' lives. So, I mean, it's a pretty easy thing to see. There's more that was going on, though, as they were kissing his ass through this whole thing. I talked about regurgitated talking points. He talked about the N-word again. We're not even going to go to that, but more about his lovely relations with Kim Jong-un, because that's new.
Something historic that I'm always amazed by what you did is how you got along so well with all these world leaders, especially Kim Jong-un.
If you remember with me, it was very rough. Little Rocket Man, and he was calling me names, and I'm calling him names. And remember, he said, I have a red button on my desk, and it's got very big power. And I said, no, I have a much bigger button than you do, and my button works. And we went through so much.
How'd you guys squash that?
I said, did you ever hear of the song Rocket Man? I actually handed him the song Rocket Man, which is a pretty good song by Elton John, but he never heard it.
A vinyl?
I didn't show that it was made in South Korea, frankly. That the recorder it said South Korea. I said, take that off.
Yeah, because that's what happened. Damn, his tie is really effing long. Like I was just watching, like it goes out of the frame. It's so damn long.
Very long.
Fine, whatever. That's been the way it goes. So Rocket Man, you guys remember when I told you about that? I guess it'll work. No, these are the things he has to try and regurgitate and push forward, and hopefully push through it on this podcast of talking about all his old past triumphs,
His
victories.
hits.
It's weird.
It reminds me of like it reminds me of the Chris Farley show. Chris Farley had a sketch on SNL called The Chris Farley Show, and it was just him just like sort of like asking like he's like asking oh my God, Paul McCartney. He's like, hey, so remember when you were in the Beatles? That was pretty cool, right? You know, same thing. Remember when you did the thing in North Korea? That was tight. Yeah, like that's just what his fanboys are doing.
That's all he needs. Just walk him right through it. He'll take the next step. We'll see who comes. I can't wait for Ron DeSantis to finally start saying something back. I can't wait.